So good day everyone. Today we're going to tackle all the terminologies that we can encounter. Not all, but some of the terminologies na po pwede natin ma-encounter upon discussing the statics of rigid bodies. Okay, so but before we proceed to these terminologies, we shall take a look or rescan or revisit the difference between a vector and scalar quantities. Kasi last meeting we have discussed what is a force, and we know force is included in the quantities for vectors. Si force is considered as vector quantities. But then how it is differ or how it is bakit naging vector quantities si force, So babalikan natin yung natutunan natin during physics. Okay, what is the difference between a vector and a scalar quantities? Okay, so when we talk about force, right? Last meeting, we said that in order for a quantity is considered as force, it should be a force has a magnitude, force has a direction, it has a sense, and also a point of application. So also these four qualities describing a force is also describing a vector quantities. So ito, kapag daw merong direction, may magnitude, may sense, and meron din siyang point of application, it is also considered na characteristic siya ng vector quantities. Right? All quantities that possess direction, sense, as well as the magnitude is called a vector quantities. So, kaya si force is categorized as vector quantities. Aside from force, we have, for example, the velocity. Velocity has direction. Velocity also has a magnitude. So, it has the qualification or the characterization of a vector quantities. Ano pa yung iba? We have also moment. We have acceleration. So, those are example for vector quantities. And how about scalar? Ano naman si scalar? Okay, we have described the vector quantities. But how about scalar? Okay, we know that scalar quantities, kabaliktaran ni vector lang naman ito. So, scalar, does scalar possess magnitude? Do you think scalar has a magnitude? Yes, no? Scalar has a magnitude, but it does not have the direction. Scalar quantities does not have a direct direction. It does not have sense, nor it does not have a point of application. Right? So, ano ba yung mga example ng scalar quantities? So, ang mga example for that will be the mass, right? The volume, the color, and also ano pa ba? The length, the area. Yan, yung mga scalar quantities yan. So, scalar quantities has magnitude, but it does not possess the characteristic of direction and the of course the sense, Then vector quantities also has magnitude, so they both have magnitude, but this has a direction and sense of application or point of application. Sense of application. So, right, the also no also if the quantities if you can add these quantities algebraically, no, po pwede mong add yung mga quantities na to, itong mga scalar quantities na to, it will show magnitude only, right? Kapag naman, let's say I have a mass, right? Mass is considered as scalar quantities. If I have 2 kilogram, 4 kilogram, 6 kilogram, it will, if added, or kapag inad mo, no, it will give you 12 kilogram. So, the whole or the, after adding, no, these quantities, this result to a magnitude only, which is in terms of kilogram, right? Bigat. So, ito naman si vector quantities. Kapag inad mo to, no, this will show not only magnitude, but no, it can be differ, no, pwedeng maging parehas yung direction, pwede ding magbago yung direction, right? No? So, yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Okay? So, pag-usapan naman natin si force. No? We know force is a vector quantities that has magnitude, meron siyang direction, meron siyang sense, and point of application. Okay? So, let's go through the different types of force. No? Of course, there is also, itong coplanar, collinear, concurrent forces, these are the types of force system. No? Iba pa yung types of force. Okay? So, accordingly, no, forces can be classified under two general headings. So, first, we have the contacting or applied force. Okay, so let's jot it down. So, a force can be categorized as contacting or applied force, pwede naman. And also, it can be distinguished as a non-contacting or non-applied force. Okay? Pag sinabi nating applied force, no, this is the action. No? Action ito ng push, no, or pull that pwedeng ma-produce by, let's say, an effort, mechanical effort, or kapag naman using our body, we can exert muscular force to an object, right? Or to a body. Or for example, no, if I am pulling a rope, right? So, merong contact between yung person and the rope, or the hand and the rope. So, this is a contacting force or applied force, no? Kapag pinush ko naman yung, let's say, the table, I push the table, I push a certain body. So, there is a contact between my hand and a specific body, a specific type of body, which is the table. So, this is considered as applied force. Or in a mechanical application, if I applied a brake through a moving vehicle or an automobile, so this is an applied force. So there is a contact between my feet and the brake, or let's say accelerator, right? So the second one is the non-contacting force or non-applied force. So these are the forces that that is there, no? Diyan yan kahit walang mangyaring contact. Kahit walang mangyaring push or pull, kahit walang mangyaring let's say mechanical effort or a muscular effort, palagi yang nandyan. So ano yung mga usual na meron, no? Na non-applied force or non-contacting force. So ito yung for example, the gravitational pull of the earth that is considered as a non-applied force. There is also the magnetic force, electromagnetic force that is being established because of the rotational movement of the earth. Then we have the ano pa ba? The pressure, no? That is exerted by the air throughout a body. So, ano pa ba yun dyan? We have also, ano pa ba yung mga example ng non-applied force, pressure, gravity, magnetic force. So, yun mga yun, no? So, this is considered as non-applied force and nagkakaroon ng manifestation without contact or without force being applied to a certain body. So, ganun. So, also, no, we have also, tingnan ko po nandito. So, aside from this one, we can categorize force as an external and internal force. Iba pang categorization to, right? So, para siyang another distinction. Okay, when we say external force, ano ba yung mga external forces na ito? So, for example, a force ngaya being exerted to a table, na lang. Ulit, no? So, I pushed the table, I applied a force toward the table, and that force that I exerted is considered as external force. And then, we have also the internal forces. When we say internal forces, we can consider this no? Example of this is stress. Or kaya pwede nating sabihin na si internal force is also a stress, right? Because it is produced by various parts. For example, di ba pwede nating i-cite na example dyan? Halimbawa, I have a vessel. Ang vessel na to is merong tubig. And this water is exerting forces papunta toward the vessel. So that can be considered as internal forces, right? Internal force. Okay? So, yun yung ano pa ba pwede pa categorization na naaalala ninyo? Okay, so yun lang, no? And then, ito na namang sulat na another categorization is the we have the external. Yung iba kasi wala dito sa terminology indicated sa isang ni-referred kong book or ni-referred na review. Ito kasi galing to sa reviewer. So we have also external and internal forces. Tingnan nga natin kung meron dito. Wala. Okay. And then, itong external forces, nahahati pa to sa dalawa. So, we have the acting and reacting. Right? So, kasi, kung titingnan natin yung first law of motion law of motion ni Isaac Newton, no? Ang first law ni Isaac Newton, 'di ba? Na kapag ang body ay hindi mo naman, no? Or there is no force, no? That act on a body, so the body will be remaining at rest. Right? Unless, no? Sabi ko nga, kapag naman merong force, no? Na nag-act dun sa body na yon. So, kung nasa resting position siya, of course, gagalaw yun. So, that is the law, na first law ni Isaac Newton. So, therefore, we can also state that force is in action that changes or tends to change the state of motion of the body upon which it acts, right? So kasi sa statics we are interested sa mga bodies that is under at rest, right? So aside from the first law, we shall also know the third law of motion. No, ni Newton, again, Newton ulit. The third law explain the reaction and reaction or acting and reacting forces na po pwede nating ito kasing acting and reacting forces is under the external forces ito. So, the third law of Newton is applicable to this situation. So, it is stated, sabi ni Newton, na for every action, there is an equal opposed reaction. Right? So, di ba? Ano ba yung mga external forces na po pwede nating i-cite? So, we have the gravity. Po pwedeng pwede din i-cite natin yung forces galing sa mga outside let us say yung force na galing sa human, force na galing sa other bodies, no, po pwede ding forces na kinos ng hangin, or let's say pressure, no, galing sa tubig, pressure galing sa hangin. No, these are the example of external forces, right? Which is No? Example siya ng external forces na pwede nating i-categorize as a acting, right? Acting forces. So, again nga, si external, nahahati ito sa dalawa. It can be categorized as reacting and acting forces. Yung mga acting forces, no? Every forces that is towards a certain body, no? Yeah, no, papunta siya sa body, acting, no? Kasi let's say ngaya, the wind, as the wind ngaya, yung wind na touch niya yung, let's say, ball, no? There will be an acting force to the ball, no? From wind to the ball, or pwede din naman from ball to the wind, right? Pwede ba yun? Yeah, pwede yun. And then, kasi nga, no, because of, if mababalance yung forces of wind na reacting, acting to the ball, there will be an equilibrium, right? But no, there it is a sense na of acting and reaction na. Okay, for that ball to be still, or for that ball na hindi siya gumalaw. So, kakaroon ng equilibrium. Yung forces of wind and the reacting force na manggagaling sa bola. But, no, considering the action forces or acting forces, we can consider na yung pressure lang ng wind, yung papunta sa ball. So, that will be our acting forces. And, no, the reacting forces, since nga ang external forces is nahati sa dalawa, reacting and acting, yung reacting forces, that will be the force na cause, or reaction na nangyari because of the force na inexert ni wind, or because of the pressure being exerted to the ball, right? So, itong mga reaction forces na to, these are, reaction nga siya, no? These are the effect of the acting forces. No? Para bang, halimbawa, isa pang halimbawa nito is when I have a truss ngayon. Meron kang stand dito, meron kang truss, or let's say, beam na lang, beam. Of course, this one, the stand, yung tawag dito. Itong stand na yan, or let's say, truss, di ba ito yung truss? Is, meron siyang reaction forces. No? Reacting forces. Itong naman na to, itong beam naman nito, ito yung mag-create ng downward force, which is the acting force. Okay? So, huwag kakalimutan yan. And also, we have the concentrated and the distributed force. Yung concentrated force na tinatawag, it is the force which is resisted by an area of material relatively so small, which is the purpose, no? Or it may be considered as a point, or kasi concentrated, kung saan pag sinabi natin concentrated force, it denotes kung saan papunta yung force. Let's say I have here ngayon a ball, may force dito. Ang concentrated force niya is ito. Papunta dito sa area na to. Right? And then we have also the distributed force. Ang distributed force naman, no, it acts no on the area. Kung itong concentrated force, sabi ko nga it acts on the area that is so small. Ito namang distributed force, it acts no on the area relatively too large, no? Large area yung kino-considered mo. Yung dinidistribute mo yung the force, right? Okay. So let's say nga for example of a distributed force, of course, sabi ko nga kanina yung vessel na may tubig, no, the pressure no, is against the side of the vessel, no, and it is being distributed equally, no, in order for that vessel to para hindi siya mayupi. So nadidistribute yung water equally sa side. So that is a example of a distributed force. Okay? And then we come now to these types of force system. Ito na yan. Yung coplanar, non-coplanar, concurrent force. Si coplanar force, sabi dito, kapag yung force natin is lying on the same plane, that is, of course, coplanar forces. Okay? So, saan ba ito ginagamit? Bakit ito kinakategorize natin sa coplanar, collinear forces, concurrent forces? So, these forces of system is important para mabigyan natin yung problem, no? The problem ng solution, no? Because these forces is having different kind of characteristic. And this characteristic na yan yung coplanar, collinear. Ito yung types ng system force, right? So, para mabigyan natin ng solution yung isang problem, we need to characterize yung all the forces that are present in the problem. So, therefore, ito na yung characterization niya, right? Coplanar forces, ito yung forces na naglalay on the same plane. No? Then we have also collinear forces, no? Which is same line naman siya, line of action. Then we have concurrent forces, which is passing through a common point, right? But not totally in the same line siya. Kasi ang coplanar, let's say nga, I have here an area. Ito yung forces mo. They the same on the same plane, right? Right? Or if you have an X and Y axis, yung forces natin is nandito sa plane na to. So, these are coplanar forces. Ang collinear forces naman, they lie on the same line of action. Let's say, this one, and this one. Ito yung force 1 mo, ito yung force 2 mo. They are acting on the same line. No? Ito namang concurrent forces where lines of action are passing through one common point. So, halimbawa ito, meron dito, meron dito. That is considered as concurrent force. Concurrent rather. No? Ang concurrent force, the line, no, line of action siya that are not parallel, no, and are not passing it in the same common point. Kabaliktaran siya ni of course, ni concurrent tsaka ni collinear. Si parallel forces naman, of course, parallel. Line of action are parallel and not passing on a common point. So, ganito siya. Ito yung force 1 mo. Ito yung force 2 mo. And, of course, no, parallel, it can be categorized as parallel. Pwede din na yung force pa. Pwedeng maging parallel force, coplanar force, or parallel coplanar force. O pwede din naman parallel non-coplanar force. Kasi ang parallel force, pwede siya sa isang plane, no, the same area, the same plane, or pwede din naman na magka-iba ng plane, right? Kasi ito, if we consider this one, the x and y axis, pwede siyang dito, pwede siyang dito. But they are considered as a parallel lines, right? But then, magkaiba na sila ng plane. Ito nasa positive area siya. Ito nasa positive negative area, right? Or negative positive area. Negative yung y-axis, x-axis mo, positive yung y-axis mo. So, yan. Ang action force naman, these are the forces that are applied into the body. Ito na yung acting, no? Acting force. Action force. So, action force yung dininote niya, pwede naman. No? But then, ito is acting force lang naman yan. No? Or applied pa, pwede ba? Hindi. Pwedeng applied force. Pwede ding acting. Kasi meron tayong di ba, under external, meron tayong acting and reacting. So, action force, it can be an acting force, and also, this can be a contact and pwede din, no? Kasi ang gravity, pwede din siyang mag-act as a acting force. Sabi ko nga kanina. Okay? Then we have also the force system. Ito na yon. Ang force system na tinatawag, ito ng coplanar, collinear, concurrent, non-concurrent, parallel force. Which is any arrangement siya, no? Any arrangement for two or more forces that are acting on a body or group or a related body. Sabi ko nga, force system is very important because this is the characterization of force. And the characterization of force is very important in determining the solution of a certain forces problem. Okay? So, also we have the reaction force. Reaction force is the forces that are developed by free bodies upon another body. So, sabi ko nga, si reacting force or reaction force, this is the effect, no, of having a contact between two different bodies. No? Sabi ko nga, if you have a force of the pressure, no, air pressure to a ball, so there will be, of course, the contact between the wind and the ball will be the acting force. The effect of that acting force, which is the force being developed because of, no, because nangyari nga yung applied force, yun yung tinatawag nating reacting force. No? Epektuya because of the acting force. Okay? It's like, no, it's like, in a sense na, limbawa, nagkaroon ng earthquake, the reacting, pwede nating i-compare, no? Yung the earthquake will be the action force. What will be the reaction force? That will be the intensity of that earthquake. No? Epektuya. Because of the applied force being observed or being applied to a certain body. Okay? Then we have the tension force. Ang tension force naman, these are the forces that tend to move away from the body or elongate the body. Okay? Pwede siyang mag-cause ng movement outward the body. There is a tension. Or pwede din siyang mag-cause ng elongation sa body. Okay? Tension ang tawag doon. Tension force. Diba? Ang example dito will be the tension between a belt and the pulley. Pwede siyang toward, pwede siyang outward. And then we have also the compression force. This is the force na pwedeng galaw. Tama ba? Tend to move towards, or papunta. Papunta siya sa body. And the cause of that force is for that body to be compressed or shortened. Diba? Halimbawa ng compression force is the pag-compress na lang, let's say, yung anong tawag natin dun, yung pag-press. Pang-press ng let's say yung pagbubulk. Say I have a plastic or cans na walang lagay. Then, I want to compress those cans and plastic in order to para paliit yung volume. Merong tawag sa machine na yun. Hindi ko lang, nakalimutan ko lang yung tawag. But it is a pressing machine. Pressing machine siya. That is intended for used plastic and used cans para to smollen or to para mapilit, to decrease the volume na na-occupied ng mga used cans and used plastic. So, yung nangyayari, yan, hydraulic press, Hydraulic press na lang. Pwede natin siyang tawaging hydraulic press. So, yung hydraulic press, yung force na galing sa press or sa hydraulic arm, tama ba? Hydraulic, yung pang-press, press arm, is being toward, papunta siya, yung force is toward to the plastics or cans. The tendency of the cans and plastic is to paano ba? Yuyupiin or mayuyupi siya and i-compress siya. So, magkakaroon ng compression, magkakaroon ng pag-short ng body or pagliit ng body, which cause the effect of that pressing force is to magdidikit-dikit, magko-compress nga compression niya, magko-compress yung cans and plastics. So, the tendency is to make it a one body na lang, parang ganun. So, magkumpul-kumpul sila. So, another one is the vector quantities. We have na the vector quantities, alam na natin yun. Then, we have vector. Vector daw is represented by an arrow. And yung head nito, representing the direction and the length that indicated magnitude. Yun yung niya. Yung head represent yung direction kasi tinuturo nung head kung saan papunta yung vector, right? And of course, also meron niyang indicated magnitude. Okay? So, yung vector natin, kaya nga yung forces, yung force natin, which is considered as vector quantities, no, represent siya ng isang arrow. Yung arrow may body, yung length ng body is considered as the magnitude. The arrow of the head of the arrow is considered as the direction, right? Then we have the scalar quantities. So this is only magnitude, wala tayong representation of direction here. Then we have also this free vector na sabi niya, it may move anywhere in space provided it maintains the same direction and magnitude of the original vector. Okay? And then the resultant system of the vector, which is the least number of vectors that will replace the given system. Okay. So, kasi ito namang resultant system of vector naman, if you have two vectors, representation of two vectors, let's say this is a force 1, ito yung force 2 mo. So, yung force 1 mo is going upward, no? With the magnitude of 30 newtons. Ito namang force mo dito is towards the right side, no? Having the direction or the magnitude of 40 newtons. So, the resultant of these two vectors is the replacement to, no? Replacement to, para pag-isahin na lang yung force 1 and force 2. This will be the, let's say, the result nga, no? Result. Ano yung mangyayari if you have ngaya a force going upward and a force going to the right with respective magnitude. So, ito yung mangyayari, no? The effect of having those two condition of forces or two conditions of vectors. Tinatawag siyang resultant system or resultant vector. Okay? This will be the resultant. Result lang siya, no? Result lang siya kapag nangyari sa na meron kang force A, force B, then they have not the same or different direction. Then the outcome of that is the resultant. Okay, so this topic is about the axioms of mechanics. Okay, when we say axiom, this is the fundamental statement or principle, pwede naman, that is accepted as a true, no? Kahit walang proof. So, this will serve as the starting point ng reasoning, no, ng logical deduction, ng statics of rigid bodies or ng mechanics. Okay? So, we have four types of axioms or four axioms for mechanics. So, we will be using the parallelogram law, the equilibrium, the transmissibility, then the other one is the what do you call that? The action, no? The action and the reaction law. Okay? So, we first proceed to the parallelogram law. No? In the situation of the parallelogram law, ano yung makikita nyo dyan? No, we have two vectors, no? Originating or two forces originating in point A. We have the vector, let's say vector F, no? The force F, and then we have the force P. The force F is situated from line A to B, right? Nakikita ba? Wait lang. Then, the force P is in the line from point A to C. Yan yung ano natin. Yan yung force P natin or vector P. At ang vector F natin is from A to B. Ang vector P natin is from A to C. So, igitna-gitna natin dito yung P. Kasi yung C natin is this side. No? So, may F tayo na equal to line AB. Okay? Yung line vector P natin is from line A to C. Yung resultant natin is from A, point A to D, line A to D. And yung R natin, no, if this is having the same length, no, proportion siya or naka-scale siya, yung R natin is equal to line F plus P. Okay? And then, that is also equal to line A to B plus line A to C. Yun yung parallelogram law. Okay? Meron tayong two forces involved. Then, we proceed to equilibrium law. Sabi dito, equilibrium law, two forces are in equilibrium only if they are equal in magnitude. You shall note, no, equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear in action. So, they lie on the same line. Okay. So, in the first figure, ano makikita natin sa first figure? No? The first diagram shows that the bar, no, may bar tayo, under axial tension, yung tension A and the axial tension B. No? So, yung direction ni force, no, or the tension TA is opposite, no? Opposite. No? Nasa left direction si TA, right direction si TB. Nasa opposite direction sila. Both are in both ends, no? Nasa both ends sila. So, si bar, yung bar natin, is under equilibrium since, no? Balance, no? Balance yung tension A and tension B. Kailan siya magiging balance? No? Magiging balance po siya kapag ang magnitude ni TA and TB is equal. No? Magkakaiba lang sa direction. Opposite direction lang siya. Let's say, 30 Newton going to the left. 30 Newton also going to the right. Right? So, magkakaroon, yung sign nila is magkaiba. So, therefore, they will be a balance, no? Okay, so magkakaroon yung tension A natin will be equal to the tension of B. Then the second figure is the bar. Yung bar naman natin is under compression. Okay, compressive forces. Meron tayong compressive force A. Then another compressive force na B. Acting on the same point yan. No? Kung iano natin or lying, no? On the same collinear siya. Pwede naman niyang collinear. Then, in order for this to be in equilibrium, CA should be equal to CB. Okay? So, yung ano natin, no, yung internal force will be remaining the same along sa length ng bar. Okay? Then also, we have the fixed support sa diagram B. Diba, may fixed support tayo. Meron dyang bar na naka-fix dito sa, let's say, wall natin. Okay. So, therefore, yung TA natin, Ano ba yung paano niyo ba makakarakterize si tension A? Tension siya at the free end, right? Magkakaroon during the tension, karoon ng tension sa free end, magkakaroon tayo ng reaction force. In order to sustain or para magkaroon ng equilibrium, dapat yung reaction force natin must be equal to the opposite force ng, let's say, tension A. Okay? So again, magkakaroon lang tayo ng equilibrium kapag ang reaction forces is equal to the opposite force nito na tension A. Then, tension, puro pala tension A. So, therefore, magkakaroon ng equilibrium. Reaction and acting force. Okay? Then, we have here the calculation of stress. Sabi dito, ang calculation of stress, it can be equal to the force applied, which is the P. Say, P denotes the internal force or external force. Pwede naman. And then, yung A naman natin is the cross-sectional area nitong bar. Okay? So, third, we have the superposition law or the law of transmissibility. Sabi dito, the action of a given system for force on rigid bodies will in no way be changed. Hindi daw siya magbabago if we add or subtract from them another system or force in equilibrium. So, let's say we have here a point. No? Simulan na, meron tayong coplanar force na ito yung body natin, no? Coplanar siya. Yung forces natin dyan is coplanar. And we have here the point A, right? Point A and point B. Ang point A and point B, meron siyang, aside from point A and B, meron siyang force, no? Force P, ito, force P. Meron tayong point A, meron tayong point B. Aside from 2 points, it is being observed na meron tayong ditong direction ng vector. Ito, point B. Ay, point P na pati. Let's say, vector P. Yung vector P, kapag dinala natin siya in between ngaya dito sa inline, no? In between muna. In between dito sa A and B. Ano mangyayari? Magbabago ba siya o hindi? Of course, hindi siya magbabago. Kasi yun yung under law of transmissibility. Na saan man natin dalhin itong vector P natin, no? Basta inline siya dito sa point A and B, pirming equal po yung vector natin. The magnitude will be equal, the direction will be equal, the sense will be equal. So, yung vector P natin will be equal to P prime. Dalhin man natin yung P natin dito, magiging P prime siya. Or dalhin din natin dito sa, along with the point B, this one, P double prime. Equal po yung force natin dyan. Di magbabago. Okay? Sorry, taman. Kahit saan natin dalhin, no? So, as P move along to the line of action, ano mangyayari? The force P will be always equal to the force, no? Kahit saang point din siya sa line of action. Basta na, hindi natin babaguhin yung or walang pagbabago sa external effect sa rigid bodies. Parehas po, magiging parehas po yung force P, sa force P prime, and sa force P double prime. Basta po, no, along lang po siya sa point A and B. Pwede siyang ipwesto dito, dito, or dito. Huwag lang siya magbabago ng direction. Or hindi siya magbabago ng linya. Halimbawa dito. Iba naman yan. Iba na yan. Okay? So, hindi na siya applicable si law of transmissibility. Okay? Basta along lang siya sa point A and B. Okay. And then, we have the action and reaction. Action and reaction force. Wait lang. Sabi dito, action and reaction forces are equal but oppositely directed. Ito naman, of course, ano siya sa mga trusses. Ito naman ang kung titingnan natin, no, meron tayong truss. Meron tayong loading. Distributed downward siya. Yung load A natin toward the truss or downward sa truss natin. And then, yung loads natin, of course, considered siya as external force na in-apply natin sa structure. Pwedeng ang external force na to is considered ngaya as wind pressure or air pressure, atmospheric pressure. We can say because of gravity. Or pwede namang galing siya sa bigat ngaya, bigat ng kung anumang another bodies. Let's say pako ngaya or gubat ngaya pang tangon or anything, no? Or let's say roof, yung roof mismo, bigat mismo ng roof is distributed to the truss. So that will be the acting force, diba? Yung reaction force naman natin will be the upward force na R, which supports the supplied forces. No, kina-counter react, no? Counteract niya yung applied distributed force na A, which is nga the effect, no? Effect siya because nagkaroon tayo ng applied force. So, magkakaroon ng reaction. Okay? Then, the structure, no, will remain equilibrium if, no, yung sum of the forces and yung moments natin will be equal to 0. Diba? Naalala nyo during your initial take ng statics of rigid bodies, may makikita kayo na sum of Fy is equal ngayon to 0. Diba? So, yung summation ng A forces natin will be 0. Right? And also the sum of the moment. Yung moment natin dito should also be equal to 0. Okay? So, therefore, kapag nangyari yan na yung summation of forces vertical natin and summation of moments natin is 0, there will be a unequilibrium. Okay? So, ito, ginagamit natin to if we want to analyze the bridge rather, mga, tawag dyan, tulay. Dating nabalitaan nyo na bumigay na tulay. O yun. Diba, example yan nun. Hindi nagkaroon ng equilibrium between yung forces galing sa external force ng track, which is nag-cause ng overloading yung track because the capacity of the track is over siya dun sa kayang capacity nung nung bridge. So, nagkaroon ng inequilibrium. So, therefore, the tendency is for the bridge to collapse. Right? Aside from that, ginagamit siya sa structural ng mga buildings. Yan. So, yun lang yung under axioms ng mechanics. So, again, we have 4. We have the parallelogram law, we have the superposition, we have also the equilibrium, and the action and the reaction law. Okay, so that would be all in this topic. Okay, so next we will be um going to tackle about the resultant forces naman. Okay, so stay tuned, um stay in tune. Okay, so bye bye.